It's September, and while it's still hot outside, I am ready for some fall. So stay tuned. Hey, my friends, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you're here. Let me know in the comments below if you are as ready for fall as I am. I know it's still hot outside, but I'm ready for some cooler weather, and maybe if I start focusing on fall, it will prompt Mother Nature to cool things off a little bit. I don't know. It may work, it may not. Anyway, today is another monthly collaboration with my friend Christy over at Christy's Farmhouse. And every month this year, we have taken one day to have a different theme related to the month. And so for September, we are going to do fall comfort foods. So I will have Christy's channel linked in the description box, as well as a playlist of all the people that are taking part in this collaboration to bring you some fall inspiration as far as cooking goes. So let's go ahead and get into the kitchen and let me show you what I'm cooking. One thing that's kind of a cozy meal for me is manwiches, and I know that sounds weird, but I have always loved manwiches. I loved when my mom cooked manwiches. I loved when we had sloppy joes at school. So I love manwiches. Now I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, and I'm gonna make sloppy joe casserole. And so for this, you need shredded hash browns, ground beef, Jiffy cornbread mix, manwich, a can of manwich, and I probably won't use all of the hash browns, but yeah, so that is all you need to make this sloppy joe casserole. Easy for me to say. So basically all you do is you're going to brown your ground beef. Now I'm getting my ground beef chopped up a little bit first, and then I thought I had some frozen onions in the freezer, but all I had was this 3 pepper and onion blend, so I'm just going to use that, which is fine. I actually kind of like the added flavor of the bell pepper. But I'm gonna add this to the ground beef and then let all of this cook together. And while I'm chopping the ground beef, it will also sort of chop up some of those bigger chunks of veggies. So now that I've drained the ground beef, I'm gonna add the manwich. I'm using 1 can of manwich sauce, and you can use whatever flavor you like. We just happen to like bold. Now, when I say we, I mean me and my husband. Neither of my boys have ever liked sloppy joes, and it makes me a little sad. But, you know, so I make this whenever I can, whenever my son isn't going to be eating with us. Now, this is a 26-ounce bag, and like I said, I'm probably only going to use half because it is probably just going to be me and my husband eating this. So I have a smaller casserole dish, and I was just gonna put the hash browns in the casserole dish, but I decided to add an egg and some shredded cheese just for a little bit of maybe a little bit of moisture. So I'm gonna get the hash browns in the bowl. I'm gonna add maybe a half a cup of shredded cheese, the 1 egg, and then I'm just gonna get that stirred up. I do add salt and pepper, kind of a lot of pepper. As you know, I love pepper. But I get that all mixed up, and once it's mixed up, I have my sprayed casserole dish, and I pour the hash brown mixture in first, and I get that spread out so it's covering the bottom completely. And then I'm gonna take my sloppy joe mix, and I'm just gonna pour that over top of the hash browns. And once I get all of it poured out, I'm gonna spread it out completely. And it's actually I use 1 pound of ground beef, and for this casserole dish, it's actually the perfect size to cover up those hash browns. And you can use as many hash browns as you want. I just didn't want the potatoes to be overpowering it. But now I'm just gonna mix the Jiffy cornbread mix according to package instructions. Calls for 1 egg and 1/3 cup of milk. I'm gonna get that stirred up real good. And then I'm gonna pour it on top of the sloppy Joe mix, and I'm trying to film with one hand and pour this over with one hand. So I'm getting as much out as I can with one hand. And once I put all of the sloppy Joe mix, or all of the Jiffy cornbread mix, I spread it all out until it covers that sloppy Joe mix completely. And the package instructions for the Jiffy cornbread calls to cook it at 400 degrees, but since this is such a thin layer, I'm putting it on 350 because I also want to give a chance for the potatoes to cook as well. So I'm cooking it on 350, and I'm going to start checking it after about 15 minutes. I would say it took about 25 minutes to cook, and it came out perfectly, and this was so delicious. My husband actually got seconds. It was so good. Before we go into the next recipe, I want to tell you a little bit about Christy. I just love her channel. She is so sweet, and she gives you a lot of cooking motivation. She's just got the cutest, best little ideas for different holidays and for recipes. And so you will just love her channel. Make sure that you go check her out. I'll have her linked in the description box. And also, I did want to remind you to check out the playlist of everyone that's taking part in this collaboration. Now we're going on to the next super fall cozy meal, and that is potato soup. This potato soup is cooked in the crock pot, and so you need minced onions, hashed brown potatoes. I'm using the ones with the onions and bell pepper. It calls for cream of chicken. I don't like cream of chicken soup, so I'm using cream of celery. It calls for chicken broth. I'm using my bouillon, and salt and pepper. And did I mention the cream cheese? So to get this started, you just put your hashed brown potatoes in the crock pot. Then you're going to add your cream of soup, whatever cream of soup you're using. Then I add the minced onion, and the recipe, this is a Paula Deen recipe, and it does call for a chopped onion, but I don't have any, so I'm just using minced onion. Then you're going to add your salt and pepper to taste, and of course, again, I love pepper, so I'll make sure I add plenty of pepper. Then you're going to add your chicken broth, and if you're using chicken broth, it calls for 2 14-ounce cans of chicken broth, but I'm just using the chicken base, and then I'm adding water to it. And I show only adding 2 cans, but I should have added 3, and so I ended up adding the 3rd can of water to that. And then I'm just gonna stir it up real good, and once it's stirred, I put the lid on it, and I'm going to cook this on low for about 5 hours. When there's about an hour left, I take the lid off, and that's when I add my cream cheese. I let the cream cheese sit out because I want it to be room temperature so that it will melt into the soup a little bit easier. So once you add the cream cheese, you're going to put the lid back on, and you're going to let it cook the rest of the time. And I did come back and stir it, ever so often, just to kind of make sure that cream cheese is getting nice and melted. Because if you don't stir it around, it is just going to sit there. It's not gonna do anything. So you got to come in, you got to stir it pretty frequently just to get it to melt completely into the soup. And actually, I think there were probably still little bits of cream cheese, but that's okay. It's fine. It still tasted good. And here it is after all of the cream cheese, well, most of the cream cheese has melted into there. And this is just so cozy. This is just one of those things that just makes me feel like, I'm back home you know, my mom cooking. But anyway, you can add anything on it you want. We just added cheese, but you can add bacon, green onion, whatever. And this is so delicious. Okay, that is it. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever made anything like this before. But I also want to say thank you so much to Christy for co-hosting this collaboration with me. And if you're not subscribed to her channel, make sure you go over there and subscribe. If this is your first time here to my channel, thank you so much for coming by. And if you like this sort of thing, then make sure that you click the subscribe button so that you don't miss next month's collaboration. But also, if you like all things homemaking, meal ideas, recipes, shopping hauls, home decor, especially now that we're getting into fall, if you're already subscribed to my channel, you know how much I love decorating for fall, so I'm getting ready to do that. You don't want to miss any of it, so make sure to click the bell button and also give this video a big thumbs up because it does help me out with YouTube. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope you guys have a great week ahead. And if you're looking for more meal ideas, then make sure to click the box you see on the screen right now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.